Hey guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about 5 cryptocurrency lessons for new traders and investors. And before we jump into that, I'll just say that right now, mid-2017, this is the hottest that I've ever seen the cryptocurrency markets. You know, I've been in this space trading and investing Bitcoin for a little over 5 years now, actually since about the beginning part of 2013. And I've seen this space grow and develop over the years. And so I just want to give you some of my top lessons and some things if you're new to this, because I know there are so many people that are brand new to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And I just want to help you guys navigate these waters, because it can be extremely profitable if you do it right, but you can also lose a lot of money if you do it wrong. So, you know, right now we're kind of in an interesting time where, you know, in 2013, we had a massive China bubble, and it doesn't look that big on this chart, but price went from about $100 to over $1,000 in the span of just a couple of weeks. And you can see this is a 1-week chart, so every candle here represents 7 days. So right now you can see over the past 2 months, price has gone absolutely crazy. Once we broke out above the 1200 level and broke into a new all-time high, you can see we're hovering up here close to 3,000. So it's damn near tripled in just a few weeks. And that is a big move. And what typically happens is whenever you have a market that goes crazy like this, it attracts a lot of public attention. And it's funny because a lot of the people that were talking trash about Bitcoin the past few years are now having to buy Bitcoin at these really high prices. But everybody thought I was crazy when we were accumulating back here in the 200s. You know, just to give you an idea of this is kind of a funny thing. You know, Dan Blazerian, that guy on Instagram, he quoted, he said, I bought a shit load of Bitcoin today, up around $2,800, I believe. And then even, you know, guys like Mark Cuban, he just went on a long Twitter rant yesterday talking about Bitcoin and how he's just now starting to get into it. And he was calling it a bubble and all of this, which is fine, but you know, really what we have now is mass adoption unlike I've ever seen before. You know, Bitcoin really is going mainstream, and really for the past 5 or 6 years, like a lot of people just haven't really paid attention to Bitcoin, but here we are. So I want to just start by talking about kind of what I think are the most important lessons if you're just getting started, or even if you've been in the space for a while. I think this can be really helpful to you because I see a lot of people making these same mistakes. So the first lesson here is to plan your trades or investments before you pull the trigger, okay? Basically, in other words, before you take a trade or before you buy Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency, make sure you plan what you're looking to do. You know, people that just randomly throw money at a market and buy high are typically the ones that lose, you know. And look, there's always one guy in the comments every time I say this that says, oh, Chris, it's so, you know, you're just talking about easy stuff whenever I say buy low, sell high. But there's a reason why over 90% of people actually do the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You know, nobody wants to buy a market when it's cheap. It's when it's hot that it grabs everybody's attention. And that's why bull markets or trends go much further than most people anticipate. So one of the worst things that I deal with on a daily basis is people sending me emails and tweets asking, what's your target? What's your target? Like basically asking me to plan their trade for them. So what you want to do is before you risk any of your hard-earned money in any market, I don't care if it's crypto, I don't care if it's the stock market, gold, real estate, whatever, you want to do your homework. You want to learn what you're doing, first of all, and understand where the markets have been in recent history. So if you're just buying and then asking somebody to tell you where they think you should get out, that's doing it the wrong way. So make sure that you're able to fully plan your trades. Look at things like risk to reward, look at entry areas, look at targets, right? Plan that out. And if you have favorable conditions, maybe take the trade. If not, stay away. But you know, definitely don't just look for somebody else to tell you exactly what to do. And the second thing is stop over trading. Okay. So this is actually probably the biggest mistake that I see new traders and investors make is they are chasing every little tiny move in a market. But the reality is that you only need 1 or 2 big trades a year to make really a career's worth of profit. And I'll give you an example of this. So one of my biggest trades ever was actually Stratus. So if we go back, I'm going to go to a daily chart, and this is one that we bought here at 6 cents last year. Okay, so this was, if you go back and watch my video talking about my 2 favorite ways to trade altcoins, this was an accumulation strategy where we knew this thing was very likely to explode in value in the near future. So we invested at 6 cents, which at the time I believe was a $3 million valuation. And then over the next 6 to 9 months, you can see where we are right now. It's hovering up around $10 or $11. So as a percentage gain, that is just absolutely incredible. And you really only need 1 or 2 of these a year to make a significant amount of money. But on the flip side of that, a mistake that you could make is trying to overtrade every little tiny move, because what's going to happen if you do that is you're going to burn up money on commissions and fees. You're going to lose money on slippage, meaning, between the bid-ask spread. So I actually don't day trade cryptocurrencies. Typically what I do is I swing trade and I look for the much bigger moves. My minimum target is about 15% to 30%. That's what it's been over the past 5 years or so. But recently, we've had a lot of markets that have just been gaining 500 to 1,000%. It's really insane, and I don't expect that to last forever. But again, you need to know when to step on the gas and when to step on the brake. And over trading is probably the single most common reason that I see new traders lose money. Okay, so that leads us into number 3, which is don't pick tops. Okay, so people that on both sides of this. So there's people that try to short against a strong trend, and there's also people that get out too early. Okay, so the problem is whenever you try to pick a top in a market, and look, there's nothing wrong with taking profit at predefined profit targets, but if you are trying to be the person that picks the exact top in a market and you're shorting, whenever you're going against a strong market, you're going to get run over more times than not. Okay, so the 4th lesson here is going to be manage your trades with no regrets. Okay, and let me talk about what that means. So what do we mean by no regrets? Well, again, just like we can't pick tops in a market, you never know when the market's going to roll over, right? Or if you're in a short, when it's going to bounce. So what you want to do is manage your trade. Whenever you get in, say you buy Bitcoin or you buy Ethereum or any of the other altcoins, and you're trying to find where to get out, you want to manage that trade in a way that no matter what the market does, no matter if it crashes against you or keeps going crazy, you're going to be okay and you're not going to regret your decision. Because look, you can't control the outcome of a market. And the more that you try to force your will on a market, the more you're going to get out of sync with it and get run over. So I'll give you an example. Again, going back to the strat trade, I actually closed a big percentage of my trade around 900% to 1,000% gains. So down here, and at this time, the chart's kind of deceiving because at the time, look, this was about 1,000% gain or so, and what looks like a little move in hindsight was actually a massive, massive gain. So that's why I'm still holding part of the position up here around $10. But again, I took a significant percentage of the position off the table because for me, if the market would have crashed after gaining 1,000% and I didn't take something off of the table, I would have absolutely regretted that. So again, everything is perfect in hindsight, right? But what you want to do is trade in a way, manage your trades in a way that no matter what the market does, you're not going to have any regrets. Okay. And then the 5th and final lesson here is don't chase hype, anticipate it. Okay. So right now there is a ton of hype in Bitcoin. So instead of chasing it and buying at all-time highs, what you want to do is anticipate the hype, right? Anticipate when the market's going to panic. And that's why if you go back and, again, $1,000 Bitcoin seems really cheap right now, but if you watch the video that I did back here in the first part of 2017, where I was talking about, is Bitcoin, is it crashing or is it just a temporary bounce? A lot of people were freaking out when Bitcoin was making these moves back here, and my message was very simply like, look guys, don't panic. The trend is intact, right? And a lot of people are regretting selling too early down here around, 700-800, and here we are close to 27 or 2800 today, right? So instead of buying all-time highs and instead of chasing the hype, wait for a panic, wait for the bounce, and anticipate the moves. I always say, like, trading is like chess, right? You want to try to anticipate all the future moves that your opponent's going to throw at you. In the case of trading and investing, your opponent is the market, right? So again, don't chase the hype, learn first. And, if you're just getting into cryptocurrencies at this point, the most common question that I get is, Chris, where should I buy? And my first response is always, well, look, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you what to do. But anytime that you're going to buy a market that's up a large percentage, what you want to do is give yourself enough room in your position size that if the market does pull back strong, if the market does crash and put in like one of those parabolic reversals, that you can add back lower, or you're not going to get hurt too bad. But there was recently somebody on Reddit that posted, I think it was somewhere up here, that he took a mortgage out on his house to buy Bitcoin. I don't know if that story was real or not, but that kind of stuff will get you crushed. There were several people, whenever I put my warning out in 2013 around $900, my first blog post ever, for those of you that don't know it, was actually negative about Bitcoin. You can find it on my blog, where basically I said, look guys, like, I think Bitcoin is overvalued here at 900, and I think it's going to do a deep pullback. And I got a lot of hate for that, but I also got emails from people that were like, Chris, I put my entire retirement savings in here because I believe in Bitcoin. But they knew they were chasing, and thankfully some people saved themselves and some people got stubborn and actually sold at the bottom here where we were buying. So, again, just think about hype, think about the herd mentality. And again, guys, the most cliche saying that I've ever heard in my 15 plus years of trading is buy low and sell high. But again, guys, well over 90% of people do the exact opposite. It's oftentimes in investing the stuff that sounds the easiest that's the most difficult to execute because of one word: emotions, right? Fear and greed cause people to do crazy things, to go against what they naturally know is what they should do, right? But again, guys, if you have any questions about this, feel free to leave a comment below. I do try to get to as many questions as I can. And again, I've been trying to get back in the habit of doing regular YouTube videos, but the markets have just been so insane that my entire life has just been wrapped up managing a lot of these big trades that we've had. So I'm also going to link up the Bitcoin Basics course if you're just getting into this and you want to learn the right way to trade and invest this stuff. You can also get a free copy of my book there. And yeah, like this video up, share it if you know anybody that you think would get value from it, and I will talk to you real soon. Take care.